All right, hi everyone, Bethany and Sparky here.
How's it going, guys?
Welcome to Ask a Puppy Trainer show. We don't have a puppy for you today. We have my old man, Dusty. Mwah.
He could be a puppy. They're all puppies to us. She's like, no, they're not. They're really not.
And we are on episode number 84.
Woo! That's crazy. 84 weeks.
All right, we're going to start with a couple of Instagram story questions. Dietrich Faith says, Golden Doodle, 4 months old. Look at you following the rules. Thank you.
We appreciate you.
We like the age and the breed or breed mix of the puppy. All right, Golden Doodle, 4 months old. How do I get my pup to minimize maybe the barking? Mini the barking? Stop barking.
We're in the world of minimizing words too. Minimize the barking.
4 months old, 16 weeks?
We need a little bit more detail on when they do the barking. So we're going to give her a general...
You can't really do that when they do these little things.
I guess not.
Yeah,
I'm just going to give a general then. So where do we get the most barking? When people knock on our front door. When we're outside and puppies want to go say hi to people and greet people, but we're not allowing them to. So I'm going to take the outside one. Bethany can take the inside one because I enjoy the outside one more. So a lot of puppies, when you take them outside, they want to bark at people because they don't know what else to do with themselves. They're demanding to go say hi to people. So a lot of time...
It's arousal.
It is arousal. So a lot of time it's about what you've done in the past that influences what you do in the present. If you allow them to say hi to people in the past on the walk, your walk has become about saying hi to people. It's no longer about you. It's about what they can find and what they want to get to on the walk. So take a step back. You've probably pushed them a little too far in saying hi. And again, I don't know if it's actually with the barking, so I'm just generalizing. If we've already allowed them to do it, take a step back and stop letting them say hi to people on walks. Take a roundabout way on your walk to where you're avoiding most people, but you're still seeing them from a distance.
Yeah, I hate that term avoiding because people think it means to completely avoid, like see a human, get out of there fast. No, we by avoid, he just means like navigate around them.
Disassociate their need to say hi to each person. So the roundabout way that we take is so when they see a person, we can puppy, food to nose, walk back. And if they don't care about food, puppy, come, take about 3 or 4 steps back. They're gonna keep pulling towards the person, get far enough away, and they kind of like, oh, hey, human, and then follow after you. And if they take food, awesome. If not, turn your back and walk the opposite direction after they've looked at you. So you're breaking their focus on the people they're demanding to say hello to, and you're reestablishing the focus on you as the leader of that pack, of that walk. If they don't take food on the walk, that's super normal for puppies that are easily distracted. Skip a meal or two, and then start using your meals on your walk. And obviously, we're not starving our puppy by skipping a meal or two. It's only when you skip more than that where you kind of start risking it.
And it's only if they're healthy weight, because we do come across some small breed puppies that are underweight.
Like Whippets, Greyhounds, those guys
Yorkies,
that can't really skip meals.
Some of those Yorkies.
Yeah, so you just gotta be careful. Make sure they're properly nutrition. Their nutrition is proper, and if they have a little bit extra on there and they're the right weight, then you can skip a meal or two, and you're using it to build drive. So you're not skipping because you're being mean and focus. Thank you.
Yeah. So the big thing that he's kind of making a big deal that we don't know exactly the reason for the barking, but it doesn't matter. It could be a bird, it could be prey, a human, a dog. It's all arousal. It could be a car noise. It could be a nervous alert. So there's ways to look for that in the house as well as outside the house. And so closing the mouth. So if the dog is panting normally, that's one. All right, that's an alert.
That's your arousal.
Yeah, it's arousal. They're giving you an alert. Ears forward, stiffness of the body. Tail was moving and then it goes stiff. So there's all kinds of precursors to arousal, and that's what you want to interrupt immediately. Puppy come, puppy let's go. You gotta change. Your goal is to change some sort of eyesight as well as get them to focus on you. So even if they don't take food, like he said, you still just turn and go. You're like, let's go, and just try to take control of
They don't have control of whether they're gonna follow. You're walking and they have to follow.
Yeah.
Another thing I really enjoy using too is pet corrector, and you can just do like a little air spray, and it's the interrupter that she was mentioning. The minute your puppy is like, no, come,
the
turn.
noise. Hopefully the noise.
It's an interrupter of the distraction, but again, it's not a fix. It's not a tool that fixes behaviors. It's a tool of learning, and it gives you leverage in the moment. So if you're like, no, and they're like, okay, what do you want? And you're like, I don't know. And then they start barking again. It's the shh, no. They look for a split second or even just break away.
That's all you get.
Puppy, come, good, let's go.
Yeah.
You get yourself out of there.
Yeah. So inside, it's really is the same thing. I would say make sure if you're doing crate or playpen training that they know how to stop at the threshold and wait for permission to come out. They can learn that at 8 weeks old, probably 6 weeks. Sorry, what was I saying? So front door threshold obviously is really important. You need to teach place right away. Like a 4-month-old puppy could be laying down in place for 10, 15, maybe even 20-minute intervals with you right there next to them on leash by now. So that's place duration, but you need to teach place as a command for fun first, not too much crazy excitement.
And anyone who wants to know how to do that, any of the people that have already bought our online school and they're already in it, the second lesson we introduced place command, and I think on our 6th or 7th lesson, we actually set up a living room.
Yeah.
A straight up living room with the pet cot, and we teach you how to do place with people coming over and people walking around the room. It's quite cool. So if you guys haven't seen that, check that out.
We might have a YouTube video on it, but if not, you can find
we have a basic YouTube video.
Yeah, you can find teaching place. And what happens is when you teach place and then you teach blocking for place, you're teaching your puppy how to settle down, and you're in control of it, and you're using body language, which is a puppy's first language. Okay, now we kind of ruin it with all the stuff Dusty's up here right now, but he's an old man, and for years I was always in control of when he would get affection. So what do I mean by that? If you have a puppy, and this feeds into everything Sparky said too about saying hi to people outside. If you guys have a puppy or a dog, and you're having, this is only if you're having behavioral issues, otherwise I don't care. And every time your puppy comes up to you, you're petting them, you're putting them in complete control of their world. They're controlling you. They get pet when they want. So that makes it impossible for you to then turn and tell them not to do something, because that doesn't make sense to them. And then also they're getting rewarded for that pushiness. So it creates pushy dogs that might bark at the neighbors outside. That's also a territorial instinct as well. But it makes it more likely you're gonna get more barking, more intensity, because you're accidentally cultivating a pushy relationship. Even if your puppy is really sweet, it doesn't matter. So my point is, if he comes up, he checks in on the couch at night. So he comes up and stares at us. He does the creepy border collie stare. And he'll stare at me for 20 minutes. It's hilarious. And I say OUT, which is out. It's a sensitive word. So, or I'll say go to your bed or place or something like that. And he'll listen. If he doesn't listen, then I know I've been too permissive and I gotta tighten things up, even with my elderly border collie. So please keep that in mind. When you allow so much affection or excitement, when the puppy is asking for it, you are cultivating a very pushy dog that you might have issues with in the future. Okay.
I'm working with a woman right now that I literally just had her lesson. Oh, maybe she'll even join on here. And she has a puppy that's constantly coming up and jumping up on her leg. And she's like, I could tell this dog no and off 20 times in a row. And it takes that many times every time to get the dog to back off. I was like, try putting a leash on. Instead of saying no and off, do pressure first, then say no, then say off, and give that dog a destination. Take them to place.
There's no value. Like, they don't understand English. Now, sometimes you can have a firmer tone, and you might be lucky and have a sensitive dog or puppy that will respond to that. Count your lucky stars, but that's not most predators. All right.
Wait, can I say one more thing before we move on?
I suppose.
By the way, guys, we know the audio is trash right now. We get it. We don't have any microphones plugged in. We're sorry for that.
Sorry.
We have tried multiple microphones. Something has changed on Instagram and TikTok and some, and microphones aren't working. We are researching and looking for the proper mic.
Yep.
If you have some suggestions.
Anybody have any suggestions? Every time we plug
anything, content creators.
In the last month, anything we plug into Instagram, it picks up Siri and it takes away. Trigger Siri. It's weird. Okay.
So we know it sounds bad. Don't send us comments mentioning that. Please.
Tiny says.
Tina
says, how to stop my puppy from chasing their tail. Thank you. This is a new one. We don't get a lot of different questions.
I would say just interrupt it. If you have a leash on them, I might step in and be like, settle down, pressure up, move in. But also at the same time, I don't really mind the chasing tail thing.
It depends. No, see, yes, you do. If it depends if it's building up to getting neurotic.
Okay.
Which
that was a word I had in my mind when you said it.
Which, if you allow things like that to happen, then it can get to be like a neurotic thing dogs do. He does it, and it's so adorable. He still does it at his old age, but and I love it. But I want to make sure I can stop it if I need to.
Yeah.
My German Shepherd Dakota, she loves to do zoomies. She lives for zoomies, and it's adorable. But I have to make sure I am regularly practicing stopping it.
Because she's a 65-pound dog that would bulldoze you if you didn't.
But then I can be like, break, and ha, and she'll do it again, and then I can be like, come down. So I've used things like that to create an on-off switch. If I was you, I would definitely interrupt it. To be honest, I haven't said this in a really long time, but because I'm trying to think of how I would interrupt that. Pet corrector is one way. Squirt, does a little air squirt. Just go, maybe instead of no, do like enough or something like that.
Mine is usually that.
I hate that.
Loud slap.
Oh
Tell me
my
anything
God.
about it. That's usually my interrupter because it got the same response from her and from him. And the minute I did it, frozen. And then you have that moment to go grab a leash, guide them to place. So you're basically using your initial interrupter, but then you got to give the brain a destination. That's a phrase I use a lot. Give the brain a destination. You stop something, redirect them to something more positive, and then reward that when they keep it. You can continue now.
My whole brain exploded, and I don't know what I was saying. But I will add to that,
I'm sure it's very valuable.
which is to... What was I going to say? It was brilliant. Oh, yeah, I know. So make sure that you say a word first before you do something ridiculous to interrupt the behavior. So if I was going to do a little pet corrector squirt or stomp my foot or clap my hands, or what I was going to say also that I've just done a lot with puppies is I'll just give them a little poke behind the ribs. I'm not talking like Caesar Milan, wah-cha-cha. That's not what I mean. I mean, it's just like a little like, hey, knock it off. Say a word first. Like let's, if this is something your dog loves to do, let's have an off switch. So I like enough. That's what I do. That's what I used to do for my puppy, or my elderly dog. She can't hear anymore, but she loves to play fetch and bark and act like a maniac. And so it's like enough. So that's my hand motion too for it.
Can you seek too? Seek is fun. Should I show the clap one more time?
No, we're good.
Sure.
So go enough. And then if the dog doesn't stop immediately and look at you, that you do the pet corrector or you do the clap, or that's where your interrupter comes in. And then like he said, do not forget to draw the puppy into you immediately. Puppy, come, sit, good, and do something with your puppy. And clearly your puppy wants to do something. So have practice settling him down, or do some active work or play, whatever you want. The other thing I would do, you don't have to do this, but when dogs are getting a bit neurotic about things, I like to turn it into a trick, because a trick I can turn off. So if you wanted to mark the tail behavior, I bet your puppy, you can hold the tail up and he kind of mouths it. You could mark it with a word. I don't know, bite tail doesn't seem appropriate, but you could come up with something cute, and then
spin.
And then you could be like, enough, treat, enough, treat, good, pick up the tail, spin, yeah, whatever it is. You could also do that as well. So a few things to work on.
By the way, I use the enough with our barking as well. I'll get
That's
2 or 3 barks in, enough.
Yeah.
They continue on, clap, stand up, and move in, invade their space. They kind of back off. Because one, if you've already conditioned it, they already know they're doing something wrong when you've said enough, and they continue, and they're waiting for you to address it. So when you do, they're already kind of predestined for some kind of destination, like place or down or sit or house, whatever you need.
If your puppy is completely blowing you off, very calmly stand up, go and get your slip leash or your leash and calmly walk over and put it on them. You're not mad, you're not jerking them around.
But Bethany, they've already got their leash on because they should be dragging you around all the
They
time.
should
They're
be.
not in playpen or crate.
Yeah, but this might be like a 7-month-old dog or something. But anyway, you're going to calmly put your leash on if it's not already on and draw them out of it that way. Okay, don't ask for something more than once that you can't reinforce. Okay.
I like that.
All right, no sleeping. Oh, we did a video on no sleeping in the bed together with the new puppy. And someone said, when you say sleep with us, do you mean like all night or just naps here and there? Wow, this person is like,
she's waiting. She's trolling for the answer she wants.
She's like, please,
let me take the naps.
Please. Here's the thing. Okay, I'm gonna disagree with Sparky a little bit.
Never.
I have come across a few puppies that are very calm natured. They're very relaxed pups. Now you might pay for it during adolescence because they can drastically change.
Which is when I come over to do my private training.
Yeah, which is when you pay us to come over and train your dog. But I might do a few naps. But there's a huge difference. See, this is the thing. There is a huge difference between 1 nap a week and 1 to 2 naps a day. Huge difference because you're creating an expectation
and a routine
in a puppy and a routine, and it's a bad idea. Yeah. Okay, next one. If a puppy is trained on a pad and learns to go outside as an adult, will he remember to use it? Okay, so that was a video that we did, and someone said, any tips on an XL bully, please? Don't use a puppy pad. Yeah. Okay. We don't even like puppy pads. Pretty sure we said that in the video.
If you live in like Chicago or something or Washington where it's snowing,
do grass patch.
That's exactly what I was thinking. 1-800-GRASS. Put it on your patio. They'll replace every 2 weeks.
Yeah. You can't with larger breed dogs.
I follow a really, 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 really cute account on TikTok where this girl sets up her pitty to go for a walk out in the snow. It's a 25-minute process. Socks, shoes, underlayer, overlayer, jacket, neck gaiter, beanie, and then nose warmer. And then she goes, and the dog is just trying.
The hilarious thing is like we've got all these huskies in SoCal and all these bullies in like Chicago. I'm like, come on.
Swap, guys, swap.
Come on. Okay. Top 5 things we would do as dog trainers with a new puppy. So again, this is a comment to a video. Someone said, the life of you and I, what's your thoughts on a puppy sleeping in bed for a little and then being moved to crate for night? They're not a baby. Yeah, they're not a baby. Like even a baby, they do that like transitional thing. It often only works so you can get some sleep, not actually for the baby to learn to self-soothe. So it's the same thing. It's a recipe for disaster. It might help you get some sleep
in the moment,
but it doesn't train your puppy. Yeah, in the moment, because you're gonna pay for it later.
It gets worse and worse and worse later on. We've even given the suggestion to put your puppy in the crate in like a different room and sleep on the couch in that room for 3 or 4 days.
Yep.
And then slowly start moving that crate farther and farther away from the couch until you can get out of the room and go back to your bed.
That's totally different than having the puppy fall asleep in your arms. You're better off getting one of those, what are they called again? The little puppy warmer.
Oh, the sleepy puppy.
You're better off. They're not cheap, but
cuddle pup. There we go.
You're better.
Will you grab one?
That was great. Thank you. You're better off getting the cuddle pup. It has its own heartbeat and warmer.
I'm making up that name. That's not the actual name. I don't remember it. I'm just trying to think of anything cute.
You can go on Amazon and see these suckers. I don't know what they're called.
Maybe it's got a name on it.
No. But anyway, like it's got all kinds of, this is the heartbeat thing. Anyway, you don't want to associate that with you. I mean, you're not the mom. Unless you're going to bite your puppy to physically control them as they're growing up and making bad decisions.
You can find them on smartpetlove.com.
And also on Amazon. But my point is, you are I already showed, you're driving me crazy. Would you put that down? See, take this away. Kimberly, he can't have toys. There you go. Okay.
There's 2 hearts.
Here, hold on to this for me. Thank you. So, what was I saying? It makes it, when you set yourself up that way with a puppy, it makes it impossible for him to take you seriously at all in the future. So any whining, any barking and crate, any of that, any issues that pop up, you've already introduced yourself as the opposite of what can help him control his emotions, okay? You don't get to balance things out with reasoning like you do with kids and puppies. And so it's a big no-no. Now, some of you out there might have done that and it's been fine. And honestly, that's because you have an easier dog. So that's just the way it is. All right, we are here to help set people up for success. I mean, we have aggressive 4-month-olds coming in here. Like you gotta understand, there is a huge issue in our culture right now, especially since COVID.
The last 3 years is horrible.
I thought it was horrible before, and now it's nothing but dogs that cannot cope with anything in life, no resiliency, separation anxiety. The owners have no control because they've set themselves up with nothing but softness and sweetness. And I know it just is what it is. It's bad, guys. So if we sound so firm, like our way or the highway, it's because of our experience and what we're experiencing right now as trainers. It's bad.
We are trying to prevent something that could be worse in the future by giving you hard information now that might be a little bit more challenging to swallow, but it will help you in that future. And we can promise you that.
Okay, how to turn your puppy walks from this to this.
I think it was this.
Yeah, from this to this. Okay. Someone asked a question, what can I start at 8 weeks old?
I love this question.
That is such a good question. It's such a rabbit hole though. I do encourage you to get into a local puppy training school or an online school. We do have our own online school at thepuppyacademy.com. Shameless plug. But it just to give you got to get in somewhere. Like that's the most important thing. You've got to have someone coming to your home or go out and you got to get something right away. Oh, 8 weeks old. The vet's probably told her to hide inside forever.
So your largest socialization period is between 8 and 12 weeks old or 12 and 14 weeks old?
Oh, I thought it was up to 16.
I don't know. I find that a lot of our puppies are losing that window.
I know. But
I think that getting outside into the world, like in like a sling that's not windows across your chest,
you have windows.
What's on your side for 8 weeks old, that's usually how I introduce going outside. When they hit 12 to 14 weeks, that's when I start allowing them to go on the ground, but not letting them touch frequented areas like grass that a lot of dogs would pee on.
No public grass.
Yeah, no public grasses. But I will take them along the outskirts of a park and let them kind of just watch things. Ooh, that's so fun. Because what you're doing is you're acclimating them to it. I could say the last 3 dogs that have not been able to do this program, and they've started very fearful, it was the vets that told them wait till they're 16 weeks old before taking them outside. And that your whole socialization window is gone by the time they go out there. And they didn't work out in this program because they were afraid of everything in life. They had to do private training. They're so afraid.
Now, honestly, 70 years ago, that advice would fly because the ethical breeding was so much better. So from a genetic standpoint, we just had more solid dogs. We don't have that anymore. The other thing I would say is start hand feeding 1 to 2 meals a day, preferably all of them. And I mean, it's not one piece of kibble at a time, or if you're doing wet food, you wear gloves and it's a handful at a time. So you want to work on movement stuff. Everybody tries to do like sit and shake first. Don't do that.
And they may be able to do it, but they don't like it. They don't enjoy that.
No.
They want to move.
They want to move,
with you.
yeah. And so focus more on movement stuff. I like targeting place even before sit. Like have them hopping onto something low. That's not going to hurt them to hop off. But, on a dog bed, a little cot, and then come work. Just let's go, turn, move, handful of food. Good puppy. Puppy name, come, few steps back, food. Anyway, that's what we would suggest. And then I like to focus on resiliency training. It's my favorite.
Oh man, she's all about that resiliency.
I am. So take a bunch of Amazon boxes. The boxes might be a little hard for an 8-month-old if it's small, but get a lid from one of those containers, flip over. If you have like a little step stool, if you have a ladder, like just bubble wrap, things to walk. I want you to think of this. Things to walk over, under, and through. That's
so Bethany just gave you homework that you have to buy more packages from Amazon. Sorry guys, I know. You gotta buy more stuff from Amazon.
If she has an 8-week-old puppy, it's already coming. All right. My older dog pees. Oh, this was I don't know what this was.
This is a comment from someone. This is someone answering that comment.
Okay.
I don't know, or something.
So I'll just read the question. Why is it that my dog pees on everything? If there is a box or a toy, he will pee on it. He being the key word here. Every time I take him on a walk, he pees every 30 seconds. I don't have the age. There are some puppies, as I've seen, as young as 14 weeks old. Of course it was a schnauzer. Of course it was a schnauzer. That would lift his leg, started lifting his leg already.
So why do they do it? Because they've been allowed to get away with it.
The marking,
and because they're basically marking their territory.
But I don't blame people for not knowing how to handle puppy marking. That's a tough thing. It is.
One, I would recommend finding a private trainer in your area, a local private trainer to come to your home. Because I can give you advice, but you might need something a bit more strict. And I think that would be the best advice, is telling you to seek out a private trainer.
Yeah, I totally agree. Especially because we don't have age.
I think we had one more on the bottom left. This one?
I already did that one.
Did you? Okay.
Yes, I did. All right, we had a question last week from Chris, Liz, and Sunny. I'm pregnant. Any tips to prepare my dog for bringing home the baby? Yes. Oh, crap. Okay, anyway, I just had a thought. Anyway, it's not related to you, I'm sorry. So, so what I would like you to start doing is go on YouTube and find all the baby noises. You've got babies crying, and go ahead and start with infant. Toddler actually is different. I actually know this right now because I'm training a dog on toddler tantrums versus babies crying. He doesn't mind the baby stuff. It's the toddler level that he has serious attitude with. I think he's actually associated it with older children behaving badly.
I get it, man. It triggers me too.
There's a little insight into Sparky's worldview right there. So what I would do is two things. You've got crying, playing, laughing, all the noises, right? And you play it very, very low to start with. I like to do something active and something inactive. So what do I mean by that? I might do some simple come, handful of their kibble, come, handful of their kibble, come place, come sit place, like whatever it is. You do an easy, that's the key, an easy obedience routine with your puppy using their food or treats if you need to, while you're playing it very low. Like this is how you know. You start to turn it up, and when the ears twitch, not the whole body, but when an ear twitches towards it or an eye, that's your low level. That's your under threshold. So that's what you keep it at, and you build that up. So that's the That's the active work. He's so sweet. He's my favorite doggy in the world. I have multiple dogs. Don't tell the others. The other thing I would suggest.
They're gonna watch the video. They're gonna see it.
I know. That's terrible. Is if you crate train your dog. Then while they're in crate, play it even lower though. I don't want to disrupt their sleep, but you're gradually going to make it higher and higher. The only other thing I have to say, and then I'll let him take over.
Nope.
Is, you're opting out of this one?
No.
Of course you are. This is against some circles, but this whole thing of seeing sorry, this is like I'm getting on soapbox. You really are opting out, okay?
No, I'm coming back in. I already thought of something.
90% of the videos on Instagram and TikTok that I see.
Fake.
No.
Sorry, go.
Shut up. I'm on a roll. That I see on babies and dogs together. Those dogs look uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Stop allowing access from your baby to your dog, because here's the thing, multiple things can happen. Dog starts guarding baby, dog mouths baby because you've allowed so much closeness, baby misbehaves, they mouth them. It's a really long list. Respect first. If I drop a baby thing on the ground, or go ahead if you have baby toys, baby blankets, if I drop it on the ground, I want to be able to go out. That's what we use. But or get back. My husband, it's not a command, but he's made it a command because it's all that he can remember. So get back, get back, get back. But he moves in, and they've learned to back off. So now I can actually say it, and they'll just back off like the proper command out. My point is, they can smell. Their smell is amazing. They can smell from over there. They do not need to physically touch the baby blanket, the spit rag, all of that stuff. if you cultivate that relationship and then in 6 months your kid's in a high chair and they're eating food off the high chair and the doorbell rings and your dog flips your baby out of their high chair as they go bark at the door. Like, we need more boundaries. It is crucial. So anyway, it's respect first, and then you can slowly do some introductions. So what's the difference? The difference is, just like him getting up on the couch, it's permission based. So the dog doesn't feel ownership over the baby. So in the future, when the baby makes the dog uncomfortable, the dog will look to me or walk away themselves rather than feel like they own the baby. Got anything to add to that?
Scared your own dog.
That was a super tiny one compared to yours, which hurt my ears.
Mine wasn't even that loud. One thing I want to add, just because our last question we already answered.
It was sharp.
Is I'm actually going to take your question for the very first line, which is I'm pregnant. I'm not pregnant. So when a woman is pregnant, you actually release a lot of pheromones that your dog will pick up on. And what I find is that a lot of women get protected by the dog from the husband.
Oh yeah.
That's a big one. And then
I
when
got
the baby,
two. I got two right now that's happened to in the past.
I bet.
Yeah.
I got one lady that actually the dog bit the husband just so because he wanted to pet the baby. I don't know what you call it. He pet the baby and the dog bit him for it. So that's what you call it, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So basically what I'm trying to say is even the boundary starts when you're pregnant, not when the baby comes, but when you're pregnant.
Practice your OUT. Go back to place now. You really want to be breastfeeding that kid and yelling at your husband for doing everything wrong, and then the dog is invading your space and nobody's listening to you, and you've had 3 hours of sleep in 2 days. No, it's a problem waiting to happen. So go ahead and practice your out or your go to place or your get back. Call your dog in, sit, good, OUT. Like practice something to send them away, to get them out of your space. That's going to be a big one. Cool. All right,
Thanks
guys.
for joining us, guys.
I know, this is
my voice cracked. That was cute.
All right, we will see you here, same time, same place next week. Hope you enjoyed it.
Wednesday, 1 p.m. Pacific time.
Yes.
And if you can submit your questions beforehand or join us live, and replays will be available for you to watch after.
Bye, everybody.